channel. This is like the most awkward like setup, but I have a lot of stuff going on in the back because we are going to be moving next week, so it's just been pretty crazy. But I did want to get on here and okay, you can't sit right there. Sorry about that. I have a nosy kitten. Anyway, enough with all the little small chit chat. The point of the video today is I just wanted to come on here, kind of give you guys an update on my pregnancy, my birth plan, how that has completely changed now than what I wanted or thought, and kind of give you a little bit of background on my previous pregnancies, because that is ultimately like what has affected the way I have to go about this delivery process. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Most of you may not know, most of you may if you follow me on Instagram, but I do have two daughters, Briley, who is 4.5, and Kyla, who is 3.5. They are 13 months apart, so yes, if you can do the math correctly in your head, I was pregnant, I found out I was pregnant when Briley was 4 months old. That was so crazy, completely unexpected, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I love the bond and the closeness that they have and how much they love each other when they're not trying to rip each other's throats out. But I know that down the line, they'll be the best of friends. So, but yeah, now, obviously, I am pregnant with our third baby and our first baby boy, and 99.9% sure that this is our last. So I've been just trying to fully embrace this pregnancy. I mean, the good, the bad, and honestly, for the most part, it's been really, really good. I have the typical pains, the typical heartburn that a lot of people may experience. I've experienced it with all my pregnancies, so it's nothing really new. The only new thing is that I have been 1,000 times more healthier during this pregnancy. What? Yeah, like I was saying, I've been 1,000 times healthier this pregnancy. Just drinking a lot more water, staying more active, and just overall, watching what I'm putting into my body. So that's the only difference. I think that's why that this pregnancy, I feel like it's flown by and is going smoothly. With Briley, I was 21. I just freshly turned 21 when I had her, and I had not a lot of knowledge on labor, delivery, things like that. I didn't do my research. I didn't look, and I knew some things, but I was really dumb about some other things. So my pregnancy went really well. I could not complain. I mean, I had my morning sickness all the way. Actually, I had morning sickness all the way till I was 8 months. But I mean, I feel like that's just part of pregnancy for some people, so I just went with it. And then towards the end, I just started getting really, really impatient. I want my baby here, and I want her here now, and I just complained and complained and complained and complained to my doctor. Told her how much pain I was in, how this baby is just killing me, and oh my goodness, I just can't do this anymore. And my doctor was like, okay, and she checked me, and I was dilated to a 4. I was 4 centimeters dilated, and this was 3 days before my due date. So that was my last appointment pretty much. And yeah, I asked her if I would be able to be induced. I just was okay, is there any possibility I can have this baby tomorrow? Can we just do this? And I think I complained so much that she was okay. She genuinely really thought I was in pain, and really I was just being overly dramatic. And so I had went in, they started the Pitocin drip, and then a couple hours went by. They broke my water. I was dilating, it was slowly but surely, like moving along. And then I started experiencing a lot of back pain, and they said that Briley's head was just pretty much like rubbing against my backbone. So they then put me on all fours because of her heart rate. It was just like spiking and then plummeting, and each time I was having a contraction. So they put me on all fours, and I can laugh about this now, but during the time it was so painful, like being on all fours, and like my butt cheeks hurt so bad. So I had my mom, my cousin, and Austin like literally massaging my cheeks, and that I at the time that's just like all I wanted, like please just massage my butt cheeks. So you know, after me being on all fours, like nothing was really like working on helping like her heart rate. Since they did break my water, all my fluid obviously was drained. So they decided to actually infuse amniotic fluid back into me to kind of see if they can get Briley to turn by herself and move and start coming down, since I was like dilated to 8, 9-ish, because I had gotten to the point where they were wanting me to just like practice my breathing and then push, but not full on labor push, but just kind of like do little pushes. And that's when my body was just like, nope. And that's when Briley was like, nope, not ready to come out. And ultimately that ended in a emergency C-section, because it had been 15 hours and it just wasn't progressing. And that's my I have one regret of my pregnancy, and it is just the way that I had my labor induced and like went in early. I should have just let it happen and let my body and let her be ready. So that is why I had a C-section. And then, like I said, they're 13 months apart, so I was pregnant when Briley was 4 months old. So when I started going into my OB, we were talking about, you know, what we're going to do as far as labor and delivery again. And since the pregnancies were so close together and I did not deliver naturally the first time, or vaginally the first time, they were just more concerned of my muscles not healing properly and correctly and fast enough. So they did not want me to do a vaginal birth, if that makes sense. And at the time, the increased risks of like my uterus rupturing and things like that frightened me, because I didn't want to lose my baby, and obviously I did not want to have internal bleeding and possibly die. So I just figured, okay, let's just do the scheduled C-section and get it over with. So January came and we had our scheduled C-section. Everything went smoothly. That C-section, I mean, I was in and out, and my recovery actually for this C-section was 1,000 times better than my recovery with Briley. With my first recovery, like since I was in labor and having complications and things, and then going into a C-section, I just had a lot more pain afterwards. I had major bruising. If I could find a picture, I'll put it up here. It was very bad. I mean, it covered my entire pelvic area, down the inside of my thighs. I mean, it was just terrible. So the healing process for me there was extreme. But then with having Kyla and having that scheduled C-section going in there, I had to be there at 8. Actually, I think it was like a little bit before 8. They prepped me right at 8 o'clock, and she was born at 8:27. So that's how quick it was. Now, moving on to my current pregnancy. Obviously, it's been 3.5 years, so I, decided to talk to my doctor. Hey, what are my options? Are you like completely against Vbac? Are you thinking that I should just go completely C-section? Like, I kind of asked him his input and kind of told him what I preferred. So if those of you who are watching this and don't know, Vbac is a vaginal birth after C-section. Some people do it. There's a handful of people I know that have had multiple 2 C-sections and then they've had a Vbac. So I figured, okay, maybe I've waited a long enough time and I should be okay. So, obviously I did my research and things like that and had the discussion with my doctor, and thankfully he didn't just shut it down. There is a lot of doctors who are very old school, and if that conversation even came up, they would shut it down immediately. So I'm just very thankful that my doctor listened to my thoughts and what I kind of wanted, and he looked over my reports and things and said, okay, once I look these over, I'll kind of tell you, if I think it's a good idea or if I think that it's not. So I wanted to do Vbac because I told him that this was my last pregnancy and I wanted to experience it, and that was just my preference. So he was like, okay, he didn't shut me down, so that felt great. I felt really comfortable having that conversation with him, and yeah, so he kind of just left it open until yesterday at my doctor's appointment, and he had reviewed my operation reports, and unfortunately, because of the way that my first pregnancy went with Briley, he isn't completely still shutting it down. He's just saying that he thinks that it would just be a better idea for me to have a C-section. Not saying that my body possibly might go into labor early or something and me be able to deliver vaginally, but as far as it coming up to my 39 weeks, he wants to do a C-section. And am I mad about it? No. Am I just a little disappointed? Yes. Just because I had something in my mind, but ultimately I just want a healthy baby. I want to recover, and more I'm thinking about it, since I haven't had any vaginal births, maybe I can just completely minimize the risk of even tearing, having a vaginal birth. I know a lot of people have that, and oh, I just can't imagine that pain. I'm thinking that we're just gonna go with the scheduled C-section, and not exactly sure of the date just yet. I will let you guys know when we decide, because I plan to actually film my whole labor delivery process going in there, and if you guys are interested in a video of my C-section, I think that would be pretty cool too. I know a lot of people get queasy and stuff, but I just think that that's just so amazing. Birth in general, vaginally, cesarean, oh my gosh, I can watch someone give birth and not get grossed out, because I just think that's just so awesome. So if you guys were interested in that, I can definitely talk to my doctor and see if he allows me getting my birth videotaped. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. That's my update on what's going on with my baby, what's going on now with our whole delivery, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you again for watching.